and welcome. Today, it's Warframe Wednesday. I'm gonna call it that, I guess, because, I upload Warframe on Wednesday. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy this and want to see more of this kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe. Helps out a lot. I have a lot planned for Warframe Wednesdays, different challenges, different stuff that I can do. Pretty sure the next week we're going to be doing a blindfolded run of the Aura Worm. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure to subscribe. That way you guys get notified. But let's go ahead and get started with what today has in store. Now, there are a ton of different Warframes, but since I'm only MR12, what kind of Warframes do I have and that I use? Now, we're going to start off with my baby, my one and only, my Gauss. So, my Gauss has one main build. I did split it up into two because one has equilibrium and one does not. Because I am really poor and I don't have enough to make the equilibrium shard. But this is going to be the main build. We're using corrosive projection because it's the aura one. It really doesn't matter. We're using Archon Continuity for the 50% ability duration, Narrow-Minded, Stretch, Overextended, Fleeting Expertise, Umbral Intensify, and Argor Reach. We also have Archon Vitality that we don't need to upgrade because we don't really care about the health. The only thing that we want is the effect. The status effects from abilities that deal heat damage will be applied twice. Keep that in mind. All right, because that's going to be really important. We also have Arcane Energized and Molt Augmented. I don't have them maxed because I don't have the Arcanes for them. But if you can max them out, better to you. Now, for the Arcane Shards, I am missing the Violet Shard because I need more shards to make it. But, if you can add one and then the rest, you can just use Red Shards to add ability duration. Now, with this build, it's not entirely finished because you can do more to increase the damage output that his 3 has. And that's by priming enemies because there's, there's heat inherent in this game. So your heat damage is 50% of the first initial heat output. So the weapon that I'm going to be grinding for the heat damage is going to be the Kuva Nuke. And I do have a little clip of how it's supposed to look like and how much damage it does, which is really sick though. It does I think in the video it hits 1 million damage, right?
Holy look at all this damage!
So what's happening here? I'm going to speak hypothetically because I don't know the exact numbers. Say your weapon does 1,000 heat damage. Each tick of heat afterwards is going to do half of that. So if it does 1,000 damage, it's going to do 500. And usually with weapons, you can get a lot more heat damage than with Gauss's 3. So if you put the first stack of heat with your weapon, all of the rest of the stacks are going to continue based off of that first tick. So with Archon Vitality, if you just keep spamming your 3 and keep adding heat stacks, because with Vitality, you add an extra stack of heat, it's going to end up stacking so much more damage. Now, a little fun fact, a little neat trick that I learned while playing Gauss is that his 1 is a bullet jump reset. Because normally to bullet jump again, you need to touch a wall or a floor. But if you press your 1 mid-air, you can bullet jump again mid-air, which is honestly really sick for clearing large gaps. I don't really know how often you're going to use it, but I think it's pretty cool. And you can only do it once too, so there's that. Now we're going to be moving on to another one that I really enjoy, Titania. She's quite a bit of a speed demon, and that's one of the main reasons why I enjoy her so much. She also does a boatload of damage, and it does work in Steel Path. So, Titania has a lot going on. We're going to start off with the obvious, the Archon Shards. we're using one purple, one violet Archon shard for the equilibrium effect, so we can get more energy. And the rest of them, I'm still missing 2 more, but I'm gonna fill them up with Emerald Archon shards for the 10% ability damage, which is gonna just increase our base damage, and it's gonna do a lot more. It's gonna be really nice. All right, now for her mods, for her main build. I am really, really poor, and I don't have any arcane pistolier. I have a level 1, I guess, a rank 1, and I have 1 more spare. But yeah, I need a lot more of these for that efficiency. That way, I don't have to stop shooting, and it will be all fine and dandy. But besides that, we also have arcane velocity. We have pistol amp, power drift, umbral intensify, fleeting expertise, razor wing blitz, narrow minded, streamline, blind rage, archon continuity, and transient fortitude. I could add another forma just to, finish upgrading some of these, but I am very, very broke on the credits department, so I'm gonna have to grind a lot of index for that. But yeah, this is the mods for her. It uses 2 formas, but that's not too hard to do. Primary and secondary don't really matter. We can just leave that for now. The melee, we want the Furax because of a specific mod. We're not going to use the melee at all to do anything except for the 45% fire rate for secondary weapons, because that's going to increase our DPS. More fire rate, more DPS going out. And it also blasts enemies. But yeah, that's all you need for that. And now for the Dex Pixa Prime, I believe. I don't know how to say that, but here are the mods for it. Galvanized Diffusion, Galvanized Shot, Pistol Gambit, Hornet Strike, Accelerated Isotopes, Target Cracker, Pathogen Rounds, and Lethal Turret. There we go. I got it. Still don't have these maxed because, of course, I'm broke. But yeah, it does a good bit of radiation, a lot of toxic, some slash, a lot of status effects. So it does quite a bit of damage, a bit separated, albeit, but it is really good, especially for Steel Path enemies. Now, keep in mind that I am not the best at this game. I haven't played for too long, so I don't exactly know every single in and out of, what certain status effects do, what they provide, and all this stuff that is happening. I get these builds from, I guess, my clan leader. He's the clan leader, and I started playing with him, and he's giving me all of these cool builds that I can try. We started off with Gauss and Titania because I have a hard-on for moving fast, and both Gauss and Titania can move pretty fast. So fast, in fact, that the Cambion Drift in Deimos seems like it's like 2 meters long just because of how fast Titania moves. It is actually insane. Even though Gauss isn't as fast as this, Gauss still runs, I mean, Titania's flying, so it's cheating, It's not exactly a foot race, but, it's still really fun. And now we are going to be moving on to our next Warframe. One of the 3 starting ones, Mag. She is pretty busted, as you can see. Clearly, she does a lot of damage. There was quite a bit that went into making this build. Now, for the Mag build, we're going to start with the Archon shards. I don't really have many of them equipped, but one of the ones that I know for sure we need is casting speed, so at least 2 of those would be really nice. And ability duration helps as well for the bubble. But yeah, before we get into the mods, we're also going to take Breach Surge, which is Wisp 4, right? I believe it's a 4. But yeah, we grind for Wisp, we'd take her 4, we'd subsume her, and then take that ability for our 4. Now for her mods, we're going to be using Steel Charge, Stretch, Fleeting Expertise, Argor Reach, Rolling Guard, Counter Pulse, Boral's Hatred, Archon Continuity, and Umbral Intensify. We also, for the arcanes, we have Arcane Energize and Molt Augmented, neither which I had leveled up because I am very, very poor. Now, besides this, the weapon does matter. Our primary at least. Just for this, we need the Argonac. Just for the modifier, +3 punch through damage from daggers. So this is going to work in combination with our Rumblejack, which we're also going to be needing for this build. For the Rumblejack, we have Pointed Wind as our stance, Primed Reach, Virulent Scourge, Volcanic Edge, Primed Pressure Point, Blood Rush, Weeping Wounds, Organ Shatter, and Gladiator Might. We also have Melee Influence, and I don't think I can't upgrade it by 1. So we'll go ahead and do that. Why not? It's more there. Yeah, Melee Influence. I can't have it max because, again, I'm poor. So we have that for now. I believe that's all that we need for the mag build to work, though. Moving on, we are going to be using Gara now. Gara is pretty powerful, and with this build, it just takes it to a whole nother level. Now, I have 2 separate builds for this, and one is for DOT, which isn't as popular, but if you do want to have longer runs, it will be helpful, at least a bit. But there is also another one that I use, which is a nuking build. It just has slightly different mods, just, separating duration versus strength, but they're generally around the same. Now, for her Archon shards, we chose to go with double Amber casting speed. I don't know what exactly I'm going to use for the rest of the ones, but I know for right now I want 2 of these casting speeds though. Now, there is a lot that goes to this build. Actually, we're going to be using our primary and our melee, mainly to stack a whole bunch of damage. Now, I have 2 configurations. One has more duration. All right, yeah, by quite a bit. Less range, but more strength. Right? Yeah. Far more strength. What's the duration? Yeah, double duration, just about. I do want a purple Archon shard for this, for the equilibrium effect, but for this one we have Steel Charge, Power Drift, Archon Continuity, Shatter Storm, which is her augment, which is really nice. When Gara breaks her mass Vitrify ring with Shattered Glass, enemies struck by the glass suffer Splinter Storm at 100% strength. Splinter Storm being her second ability, so the more you stack it up, the more damage that they receive. So either will work. I like the first one. I mean, they're both around the same, except this one has primed flow. Finishing this one, we have Streamline, Stretch, Transient Fortitude, Umbral Intensify, Boral's Hatred, and Argor Reach. Also have Arcane Energize and Molt Augmented. Now for our second one, we have Archon Continuity, Corrosive Projection, Shattered Storm, Fleeting Expertise, Stretch, Blind Rage, Streamline, Overextended, and Primed Flow. But if you're going to be spamming your 4, which is what this build is for, I'd go with A. But B is instant nukes. So we have Molt Augmented and Arcane Fury for this one. For on critical hits, more melee damage, which is pretty nice. I might switch this one out too. But Arcane Energize for energy efficiency as well. Now, for Ruta, well, there's a reason we have Ruta. Unique trait, there we go. Every pellet that hits increases the wielder's melee combo count. Melee combo duration increased by 7 seconds when wielded by Kullervo. The last part doesn't really apply to us because we're using Gara. So it increases our combo and I guess duration. And that's for our bow. Because our incarnate version of it reach 6x combo and then heavy attack to activate its incarnate form, which what we want is the 100% melee damage, because our 4 damage and our 2 damage is increased based on our melee base damage. So with this, we have 100% melee damage plus 4 range, and the rest is just extra. But we really just want that extra damage. There could be some reformatting here that needs to take place, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Mayhaps. But yeah, for this one, we have Failing Branch, North Wind, Primed Pressure Point, Rending Strike, Jagged Edge, Fever Strike, Molten Impact, Shocking Touch, and Carnus Mandible. We also have Melee Exposure. I can upgrade it once. Not bad. There we go. And some corrosive damage. I don't really think that matters for this build, though. Maybe I can upgrade this. Yeah, maybe if I reformat the formas, it should be fine. Actually, I don't know. Because that's... Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what was given for the incarnate one. Alright, so I can just reformat it, get some extra space, but it is fine for now. Now, for the next frame that we use, and we use this one very nichely, because we have this build specifically for, whatchamacallit, the Plague Star event, or Black Star. I can't quite remember what the name is, but it comes around every 2 years, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And this build is specifically to grind this event. It has negative power, negative ability strength, if you will, to speed up enemies. So we could speed up the process of the boss being like, because it has an animation where it walks out of its spawn, and that takes forever before we can start fighting it. So with this, we increase the spawn rate of the enemies and increase the animation of the boss. That way my teammates can nuke and absolutely destroy the heads, and we just can keep grinding it over and over again. Alright, so for this Pharma Nova build, Forma, I spelled that wrong, but this was a build that was given to me by a buddy of mine, specifically to grind Forma. How do you grind Forma with this build? Every 2 years, I believe it is, Warframe has an in-game event called the Black Star event, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's an event. I do have a clip of it, so I'll show it. But this build is specifically catered towards it. It uses the Sobek and Nova. Those are really the only thing that matter. You can add whatever secondary or melee that you want. But for her mods, we're gonna use power denotation to lose ability strength, and we give our ability strength to our teammates. Because this is gonna be important, because we want our 4 to not be good, right? The opposite, because normally it would slow, but what we want this build to do is to speed enemies up. And we have continuity, overextended, stretch, Augor message, vitality, fleeting expertise, Augor reach, and streamline. We also had arcane rage and arcane tempo. Now, this is a bit of an older build because I was MR7 at the time. So I can probably add some formas, change some formas, move it around to make it look pretty and everything. Like that, for example. I mean, I actually lost space mod capacity, but whatever. I can also change that. So there's a lot of extra stuff that you can do to make this a build better. But what we need is to speed up enemies. You'll see why in the clip, because we want enemies to move faster so we can complete the mission faster, right? So that's what we needed. Those are the mods that we needed for Nova. Now for the Sobek, all we need is right. We have acid shells. Is it this one? Enemies explode on death. Yes, okay. This is the mod that we need for this build to work. It's called a popcorn build. So what Novus 4 does is maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but maybe, yeah, because they explode on death, dealing damage, right? In a 15 meter radius. Now, what this synergizes with her 4 is explosion damage and explosion radius, 26.5 meters. What this effect, pretty sure it shows it here. It applies an effect to all of them, and it blows all of them up. And with this build, in the little screen, it was delayed, but for this, with this Argonac, not Argonac, Sobek, the extra damage makes them pop like cherries. We also have incendiary coats, chilling grasp, cleanse infested. We had this because the event was an infested event, so we had extra damage for them. We have point blank, contagious spread, charged cell, and Hell's Chamber. And that is going to do it for today's Warframe Wednesday. As always, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe. It helps out a lot, and I will see you guys next time.
This guy,